And a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us right here on 90.7 Truth FM. This is where truth is worth finding. The show on is Dawnbreak, the breakfast voice of the city, with me, Joanique. And I'm really grateful and thankful to God to be here this wonderful day, and even to just give us an opportunity to be able to share His word this wonderful morning. And I'd like to just encourage us to open up our hearts to receive from the Lord this wonderful, wonderful morning. Now, today I want us to talk about expectations. And expectations are, what we hope for, what we look forward to. When you wake up in the morning, you have an expectation that today is going to be a good day. Today, I'm going to be able to meet my targets. Today, I'm going to be able to do that which I've set my heart and my mind to do. You expect something. You expect good results. When you go out and do something, you expect good results. And you expect to, have a good day, have a fruitful day. So expectations are fueled by hope. Once you're hopeful, that means that, you're expectant, you're looking forward to something good happening. So what could lead to someone losing hope? Because once you lose hope, you find that your expectations are just there, but nothing is holding that expectation together. Because when you're hopeful, at least that expectation, even if it's unspoken, it's just somewhere at the back of your mind, and you're just hopeful that somehow this expectation is going to be met in one way or another. So what could lead to one losing hope? Some of them, we have unmet expectations. When you were hopeful for something or looking forward to something and then it didn't happen, you tend to lose hope. Right? When there's repeated disappointment, when there's repeated disappointment, you tend to lose hope, because you're like, why should I even, waste my time hoping for something, looking forward for something, yet, I've just been disappointed over and over and over again. That has been the story of my life, And you find that unmet expectations, they do not shift. They do not shift the position and supremacy of God. Because many a times we peg our belief and Christianity and our walk and intimacy with God, we peg it on expectations. So if God does not meet your expectations or meet up to your standard, you tend to feel like His position has shifted. But our expectation does not shift the position and supremacy of God. You can never compare what you expect. And you see, many a times our expectations are even unspoken. You haven't told anyone what you expect, but somehow you just want them to figure it out. And that's what is also, killing us in our relationships. You expect someone to tell themselves that they're supposed to pick that cup and take it to the kitchen once they're done with it. And you get so upset with that person when they don't do it, but you didn't tell them that is what you expect of them. So some of us, we are disappointed with God because of our unspoken and unmet expectations. But one thing that I am confident in, and one thing I know, is that God remains to be God, regardless of our expectation, regardless of whether it's met, regardless of whether our expectation is unrealistic. Because let's just call a spade a spade. At times our expectations are so unrealistic, and when God doesn't come through for us the way we want Him to come through for us, we now start blaming Him. We start now pointing fingers at His supremacy and His excellency as God. But God is God all by Himself. So if your expectation was unrealistic and your expectation was not met at this particular time and season that you're in, God doesn't change being God. He doesn't become less of God when He doesn't meet your expectation. Because God is not twisted by our situations, and now He needs to change the way He's doing his things, or He needs to change His strategy and tactic because we just want to fit in and we want to feel like God is no. God remains to be God, and His plan remains. Whether you're comfortable or not, expectations are met or not, His plan for you remains. But one thing the enemy does is that he wants to frustrate you, and he wants to really magnify this unmet expectation so that you can start questioning you can start questioning your belief in God. Have you ever gotten to a place where you've walked with God for so long that you can't doubt him, but one thing happens, one expectation is not met, and all of a sudden you doubt that God ever existed? That is the enemy capitalizing on that unmet expectation, and then you get to a place where you're now doubting if God ever exists. So don't give in. Don't give in to what the enemy wants, because that is what he wants. He wants to win, and he wants to, frustrate you and make you get to a position where you're saying, I don't even think this God exists. I think I should just continue with my own life. So when you lose hope, you're no longer looking forward to something. You're no longer, hopeful, expectant. You're no longer looking forward to something great and something amazing happening in your life. Yet God has good and amazing plans for you. Even if they haven't happened yet, he still has good plans for you. And there's a quote that I heard some time back, and this really changed my way of looking at things, that one never receives until they develop a heart of expectation. One never receives until they develop a heart of expectation. When you walk into the house of God and you're expectant, you're looking forward to receive, that day is the day that you feel like the word has been, it has been written afresh for you. Those moments when you read the word and you're wondering, how is it that I've never seen this scripture in my Bible? That is the day you walk into church and you are expectant. You go into a Bible study and you're just saying, today I want to receive from the Lord. You're in your place of prayer and you're saying, today I want to receive instructions from God. Today I want to just have an encounter with God. You can never have that if your heart is not prepared to receive. If your heart is carrying a lot of doubt and disbelief and a lot of anger and a lot of frustration and unmet expectations and disappointment, your heart cannot receive when it's in that condition. So you need to prepare your heart to receive from the Lord. Proverbs 10:28 says that the prospect of the righteous is joy, but the hope of the wicked coming to nothing. Allow me to read this in the Amplified Version. I feel it's well put in the Amplified Version, and it says, the hope of the righteous, those who are honorable, those of honorable character and integrity, is joy. The hope of the righteous is joy, but the expectation of the wicked, those who oppose God and ignore his wisdom, comes to nothing. The expectation of the wicked, those who oppose God and ignore his wisdom, ignore his word, ignore his directives, comes to nothing. Ephesians 3 and verse 20 all the way to 21 says, now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we can ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us, to him be glory in the church and in Jesus Christ throughout all generations, forever and ever. Allow me to also read this in the Amplified Version. And it says, that is Ephesians 3:20 to 21, that now him who is able to carry out his purpose and superabundantly more than all that we dare ask or think. Expectation comes from the thought. When you think about something, the expectation has been created in your imagination and in your thought. And that's why you find most people normally talk about an unspoken expectation. You have just thought about it. You have imagined it. You haven't spoken about it yet. You haven't verbalized this expectation, but it's just somewhere at the back of your mind. But one thing our God is able to do is that he's able to do that which you think and imagine and more. And more. So that time when you are expecting something and you are hopeful for something, but it didn't happen, trust me, God is able to do that and even more. And at times he won't do that in the season that you're in. And many a times that's where we miss it. That's where we miss it. We want God to do it now. We want him to do it at this particular moment where we're in. No. Continue thinking, continue imagining. A huge shout out to our best couple. I remember when we were planning for a wedding, they used to tell us, go wild with your imagination. If you want a beach wedding, say you want that. Go wild with the imagination. Go as far as you can, because God is able to do exceedingly abundantly and above all what we think and imagine. And that really helped us, because yes, we would think we would take our imagination to wherever we want to take it to. But again, now after a while, you come and sit down and say, now let's do a reality check. This is where we are at. Okay, this is what we would have wanted, but this is where we are at. What are we able to do with what we have? What are we able to do with where we are at? So don't limit your imagination, and don't be discouraged when your imagination and your expectation is not met right now. No, don't. Allow God, allow him to do what he does best. And even if he doesn't do it in this season, trust me, he will do it in the next. And even if he will not do it in the next, he still remains to be God, but he will do it in the other season. I mean, God is not running out of options and running out of things to do for you in your life. So be encouraged. Be encouraged, because God not only meets our need, because he's a present help in time of need. He not only meets our need, but David says in Psalms that the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. So that means that he's met your need, he's taken care of your wants, and even he will surpass your expectation. He will go above. He will exceed your expectation. So there are things that when you're expecting them, you have to even change your position. There are things when you're expecting them, God cannot hand them over to you right now in the season you're in, because you have not created enough capacity to receive what God is about to give you. Because if he's about to surpass your expectation, then that means you have to create capacity. You have to create room for this expectation that is going to be above and beyond. And this reminds me of the story of Mary and Joseph when Jesus was born, during that period. And this is captured in Matthew 2 and verse 13, the escape to Egypt. When they had gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. Get up, he said, take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him. Now, Mary was expectant, gave birth to Jesus, and now where they are, because God has given them the desire of their heart, they're not in the right environment for Jesus to come up, or for them to bring up their son. And so the angel instructed Joseph, take up your child and go, escape to Egypt. That is where you're going to find the right environment. So at times, whatever you carry is so precious. Whatever you carry is so what's the word? It's so mind-boggling, and it is going to change the world and impact the world in such a big way that we can't have you in the same place. You have to relocate. For this expectation to be met, and for you to see what God wants to do in your child's life, in your career, in your ministry, at times, God is going to have to shift you to another level. God is going to have to relocate you and move you to another place. So don't be discouraged when your expectation is not met. Maybe God is just saving you time. Mungu anakuambia sasa, it's time for you to move, it's time for you to do this, so that once I release this expectation, I go beyond, you'll be in the right capacity. You'll be in the right environment. So my encouragement to us this morning simply is, do not be discouraged. Do not feel bad when your expectation is not met, because God is able to do that and even more. So the enemy is going to capitalize on expectations that are not met. He's going to capitalize on repeated disappointment. But that doesn't change God. When our expectations are not met, it doesn't shift the position and supremacy of God. If you will not remember anything else, remember that even if your expectations are not met, that does not change the position and supremacy of our God.